In southeastern Nigeria, there are towns and cities so influential, so economically dominant, so culturally powerful that many Nigerians automatically assume they are state capitals. Some are bigger than their actual capitals. Some generate more commercial activity than their capitals. Some attract more visitors, traders, and investors than official government seats of power. And some have become legendary names across West Africa, from the crowded commercial streets of Onitsha to the industrial workshops of Aba, from the manufacturing empire of Nnewi to the university influence of Nsukka. These places have built reputations so massive that millions mistake them for state capitals, but they are not. This documentary explores the fascinating story behind Igbo towns and cities Nigerians often mistake as capitals, and why these places become more influential than their administrative status suggests. In Nigeria, many people assume the most famous city in a state must automatically be the capital. It sounds logical. After all, capitals are supposed to be the political and economic centers of power, but in reality, history does not always work that way. Sometimes trade creates influence faster than government. Sometimes industry creates wealth faster than politics. And sometimes culture, migration, education, and entrepreneurship combine to create cities whose names become bigger than official titles. This is exactly what happened across many Igbo communities. The southeastern region developed a unique urban pattern. Unlike some parts of Nigeria, where colonial governments concentrated power heavily into administrative capitals, many Igbo towns evolved through trade networks, entrepreneurship, craftsmanship, education, and decentralized economic activity. This created multiple powerful urban centers simultaneously. Instead of one dominant city, the Igbo region produced several competing commercial hubs. This is why people outside the region often become confused, because when someone hears about the giant markets of Onitsha, the factories of Aba, the industrial networks of Nnewi, the university prestige of Nsukka, or the tourism potential of Oguta, they naturally assume these places must be capitals. But influence and political designation are not always the same thing, and in southeastern Nigeria, that difference becomes very obvious. If there is one Igbo city Nigerians constantly mistake as a state capital, it is undoubtedly Onitsha. And honestly, the confusion is understandable. Onitsha feels like a capital, the traffic alone feels like a capital, the population feels like a capital, the business activity feels like a capital. For decades, Onitsha has been one of the biggest commercial cities in Nigeria and one of the most economically influential urban centers in West Africa. According to Britannica, Onitsha grew into a major trading center along the Niger River and became a critical commercial gateway connecting eastern Nigeria to riverine trade routes. Long before modern Nigeria existed, Onitsha already had organized trade systems. Its strategic position near the river Niger transformed it into a natural commercial hub. Merchants from different regions converged there. Goods moved through Onitsha into eastern Nigeria, trade networks expanded, and over time, the city became legendary. Then came the famous market. The Onitsha main market became the most recognized market in Africa. For many Nigerians, growing up hearing Onitsha immediately meant commerce, not government, commerce. That alone gave the city a reputation larger than many state capitals. Even today, countless traders across West Africa source goods from Onitsha. People travel from distant states just to buy products here. Buses move day and night. Cargoes flow constantly. And because of this enormous visibility, many outsiders assume the city must be the capital of Anambra State. But the actual capital is Awka. Awka became the capital after the creation of Anambra State. Yet, culturally and commercially, Onitsha remained the more globally recognized name. The imbalance created a permanent perception gap. For many Nigerians, especially those who have never visited Anambra, Onitsha appears larger than Awka in influence, and in commercial terms, it often is. Estimates place the Greater Onitsha metropolitan region among Nigeria's largest urban areas. The city scale became so massive that people naturally associated it with political centrality. But Onitsha represents something deeper about the urban Igbo culture. It shows how commerce alone can build a city into a national force, not through oil wealth, not through federal allocation, but through relentless private enterprise. This is why many Nigerians still mistakenly call Onitsha the capital of Anambra State. And perhaps more importantly, this is why the city remains the most economically feared commercial ecosystems in Nigeria. There is a saying in Nigeria, if you can imagine it, Aba can produce it. That sentence alone explains why so many people mistake Aba for the capital of Abia State, because Aba's reputation is gigantic. The city became famous nationwide for manufacturing, leather production, tailoring, fabrication, trade, and entrepreneurship. To many Nigerians, Aba is not just a city, it is an industrial identity, and for decades, Aba's economic visibility overshadowed the official capital, Umuahia. When people think about Abia State, the first city that usually comes to mind is Aba, not Umuahia. Why? Because Aba became one of the greatest symbols of indigenous enterprise in Nigeria. The Ariaria International Market evolved into one of Africa's most famous informal industrial commercial ecosystems. Shoes, bags, belts, clothing, machinery, furniture, and metalworks. Aba artisans became known for reverse engineering and local adaptation. This created a powerful national brand. Made in Aba became a phrase recognized across Nigeria. And once a city dominates national imagination economically, many people automatically assume it must dominate politically. But again, that assumption is wrong. Aba is not the capital of Abia State, yet economically and culturally, its influence became enormous. In many ways, Aba represents the survival instinct of southeastern Nigeria after the Nigerian Civil War. Following the destruction of the war years, many Igbo communities rebuilt through small-scale manufacturing and trade. Aba emerged as one of the strongest examples of that reconstruction spirit. Generation of entrepreneurs transformed workshops into industries. Informal production network became economic ecosystems, and over time, Aba became one of the most commercially important cities in southern Nigeria. This is why many Nigerians continue to confuse it with the state capital, because in practical economic influence, Aba behaves like one. Few towns in Africa have built an industrial reputation as powerful as the Nnewi. For decades, Nnewi earned a legendary nickname, the Japan of Africa. That nickname alone elevated the town into national consciousness. Many Nigerians who hear about Nnewi's industry immediately assume it must be the state capital, but it's not. Nnewi is one of the most influential industrial towns in Nigeria, despite not being a capital city. According to the Nnewi official city portal, the town became one of Nigeria's largest manufacturing and auto parts hub, with strong industrial clusters and trading network. Nnewi's rise was not accidental. It emerged from generation of trading culture. Over time, traders transitioned into manufacturers, importers became industrialists, distributors became factory owners. The town developed deep supply chain relationship with Asian manufacturers, especially in automobile parts and industrial goods. Eventually, Nnewi businessmen began producing locally. This transition changed everything. The city became associated with indigenous manufacturing success. Names like Innocent Vehicle Manufacturing expanded Nnewi's reputation nationally. The town became famous for spare parts, motorcycles, transportation business, plastic, cables, batteries, and mechanical engineering. According to multiple reports, Nnewi residents historically dominated a large percentage of Nigeria's motor parts trade. That industrial dominance created a psychological effect. Many Nigerians began to see Nnewi not merely as a town, but as an economic command center, and naturally, they assumed it must be the capital. But the capital of Anambra State remains Awka. Nnewi simply became economically louder. This reflects an important reality about southeastern Nigeria. Economic power is often decentralized. Trade networks create multiple urban giants simultaneously. Instead of one large mega capital controlling everything, several towns evolve into specialized economic centers, and Nnewi became one of those industrial giants among them. When many Nigerians hear Nsukka, one institution immediately comes to mind, University of Nigeria. And that university changed everything. Nsukka became one of the most intellectually influential towns in Nigeria. The presence of one of the country's most prestigious universities transformed the town into a national destination. Students came from across Nigeria. Lecturers arrived from different regions. Academic influence expanded. Research culture developed. And over time, Nsukka gained a visibility far beyond its administrative size. To many people outside Enugu State, Nsukka feels too prominent not to be a capital. But it's not. The capital of Enugu State is Enugu. Still, Nsukka developed something equally powerful, intellectual prestige. The establishment of the University of Nigeria by Nnamdi Azikiwe helped turn Nsukka into a symbol of higher education in Nigeria. The town became deeply associated with academic excellence, elite education, student culture, and intellectual production. Over decades, this influence spread nationwide. Parents across Nigeria dreamed of sending their children to Nsukka. Graduates carried the town's identity across the world. And because educational influence can sometimes rival political influence, many Nigerians subconsciously ranked Nsukka as a capital-level city. The town's reputation exceeded its political status, and that is precisely why people confuse it for a capital today. Unlike Onitsha, Aba, or Nnewi, Oguta became famous primarily through tourism and geography, and that uniqueness gave it a reputation larger than expected. Oguta is home to the famous Oguta Lake, one of southeastern Nigeria's most iconic natural attractions. For decades, stories about the lake spread across Nigeria. People heard about the mysterious meeting point of different watercolors. They heard about resorts. They heard about tourism potential. They heard about the lake's beauty. And many outsiders naturally assumed such a famous destination must belong to a state capital, but it does not. The capital of Imo State is Owerri. Still, Oguta developed national recognition disproportionate to its size. The town also carried historical relevance during the Nigerian Civil War era because part of the area became strategically significant during the Biafran conflict. Combined with tourism narrative, this gave Oguta a strong historical identity. Today, the town remains one of southeastern Nigeria's most recognizable tourism names, and because recognition often creates assumption of political importance, many people still mistake Oguta for a capital city. Afikpo possesses something many towns never achieve, a strong cultural identity recognized far beyond its border. Afikpo became widely known for traditional arts, masquerade, culture, intellectual contribution, and elite educational influence. Long before Imo State was created, Afikpo already carried historical relevance within the old eastern region. The town produced influential academics, administrators, writers, and professionals. Its cultural sophistication gave it unusual prestige. Many Nigerians from older generation especially viewed Afikpo as one of the major urban centers of southeastern Nigeria. That reputation created confusion after Imo State emerged. Some assumed Afikpo would naturally become the state capital, but the capital became Abakaliki. Still, Afikpo retained enormous cultural influence. The town's artistic tradition, educational history, and elite network preserved its national visibility, and because of its visibility, many Nigerians still mistakenly believe Afikpo is a capital city. If you travel across southeastern Nigeria and ask people about major towns in Imo State, one name appears repeatedly: Orlu. Orlu became one of the most commercially active and densely populated zones in Imo State. The town developed strong business networks, educational institutions, religious influence, and transportation importance. In many ways, Orlu functions like a regional capital inside Imo State itself. Its influence extends across neighboring communities and even beyond state boundaries. Because of this scale, many Nigerians assume Orlu must be the capital of Imo State, but again, it is not. The capital remains Owerri, yet Orlu's economic and demographic influence made it impossible to ignore nationally. The broader Orlu zone became associated with strong entrepreneurial culture and political relevance. Road networks connecting major southeastern commercial centers increased its visibility. Urban expansion strengthened its importance, and over time, Orlu developed the feel of a capital city without officially being one. That perception continues today. What connects all these towns together? Why do Nigerians repeatedly mistake them for capitals? The answer lies in one word: influence. Not administrative influence, real influence, commercial influence, industrial influence, educational influence, cultural influence, transportation influence, and historical influence. Across southeastern Nigeria, many towns became powerful independently of government structures. Trade networks mattered more than bureaucracy. Entrepreneurship mattered more than administrative titles. Markets mattered more than ministries. Factories mattered more than government houses. That decentralized economic structure produced multiple urban giants. And because these towns became famous nationally, people naturally assumed they were capitals. This pattern also reveals something important about Igbo society itself. Historically, Igbo communities developed through distributed systems rather than heavily centralized kingdoms. That decentralized tradition eventually reflected economically. Instead of one dominant megacity controlling everything, multiple towns specialized in different strengths. Onitsha became commercial, Aba became industrial and manufacturing oriented, Nnewi became mechanized and entrepreneurial, Nsukka became intellectual, Oguta became tourism oriented, Afikpo became cultural, Orlu became regional dominant. Together, they formed a network of influence, and that network became stronger than political labels. Today, many of these towns are entering a new phase. Urban expansion is accelerating, infrastructure is improving, industrialization is growing, private investment is increasing, technology is changing commerce, and the influence of these towns may grow even larger in the coming decades. Cities like Onitsha, Aba, and Nnewi already function as major economic engines. If infrastructure improves significantly, they could become even more dominant nationally. Aba's manufacturing ecosystem could revolve into one of Africa's strongest indigenous production hubs. Nnewi could deepen its industrial base. Onitsha could further consolidate its role as a regional trade capital. Nsukka's educational influence may expand through technology and research. Oguta's tourism potential remains largely untapped. Afikpo's cultural heritage could attract strong tourism creative investment. Orlu's urban expansion may continue reshaping internal southeastern commerce. In many ways, these towns are proof that influence does not always come from government designation. Sometimes, cities become powerful simply because people build them relentlessly over generations. So no, Onitsha is not the capital of Anambra State. Aba is not the capital of Abia State. Nnewi is not the capital of Anambra State. Nsukka is not the capital of Enugu State. Oguta is not the capital of Imo State. Afikpo is not the capital of Ebonyi State. And Orlu is not the capital of Imo State. But all of them achieved something remarkable. They became so influential, so economically visible, so culturally powerful that millions assumed they had to be the capitals. And perhaps that says something deep about southeastern Nigeria, a region where cities are not built mainly by government, but by people, by traders, by industrialists, by students, by artisans, by transporters, by manufacturers, by dreamers. And in the end, those people built towns who became larger than official titles. This is why Nigerians mistake them for capitals, because in many ways, they already behave like capitals. If you have not subscribed to 1010 Media, please kindly subscribe to 1010 Media. Like this video so it reaches more people. Subscribe to 1010 Media and share this video so that more people can see this video. Thank you very much.